Shalom, all praise Yahbashim, Yahshabashim, Rakakadash, honors, elders, apostles, men, truth on down, the ones who teaching this truth and like-minded ones, so we know this truth and knowledge of the Wadi Yahbashim Yahshua with a certain spirit, men, so they can teach this knowledge, so we can learn this truth and knowledge, the Wadi Yahbashim Yahshua. Call Yahbashim, Yahshabashim, Rakakadash, give all praise Yahbashim, Yahshabashim, Rakakadash. This relates to Governor Santos. He's signing certain bills. I'm just reading a few of them. This relates to he signs controversial law limiting oversight of police. That goes to oversight and also forms a level of transparency, man, as well, man. You know what I mean? April 13th. Governor DeSantis has signed 2 controversy bills he says will buffer law enforcement from anti-police activists, pretty much the opposition, that feel there's some form of questioning whether how their performance or under certain circumstances, man. So limit it, buffer that, in the form of a shield, man. The SB 184 sets a 25-foot no-go zone around police and first responders who engage in lawful performance of legal duty. You know, we saw, the balance of that. You don't want nobody to interfere relating to them be able to, exercise relating to the performance of their duty. Because you might have a situation that's life and death, man. You don't want a whole lot of people intervening in that, or obstructing that. So I get that, you know what I mean? The SB 184 set a 25 no-go zone around first responders who are engaged in lawful performances of legal duty. People in violation of the rule will receive a verbal warning, and failure to comply will result in the second degree. So after the first time, there has to be boundaries and limits, man. So we look at it. I look at it everything in a balance. So if they tell you back off and all that, common sense, you do that, man. I'll get some scriptures relating to that, man. Agree with thy adversary while you have the way with him. Matthew 5:25. So scripture talks about keep away from the one who has the power to kill. That's in Sirach 9:13, man. Go to Romans 13. Go to Ezekiel 21. That left hand side, that structure is the police, man. That's the Lord's left hand side, man, of law enforcement. Romans 12 talk about Romans 13 talk about ones who go against that, because part of that minister is the police, man. They're part of that minister of the power structure here. And who put that in power? Relating to that power structure? The Lord, man. So we're gonna so it's a balance to everything, man. Let's go to the SB 184. And the SB 601. Meanwhile, the limits the ability of citizens police oversight boards to investigate misconduct allegations, gives powers to sheriff and police chiefs, and appoints members. This sounds like this point of limits the forms of complete transparency, oversight relating to perhaps questionable things. And if they were doing what they supposed to do, what they supposed to do, if the cops are doing what they supposed to do, police doing what they supposed to do, transparency, they wouldn't have to worry about, a form of oversight or transparency, because they're doing what they want. They're doing what they're supposed to do, relating to their performance. So, there would be no question, man. You wouldn't have to feel guilty about it. If they're shielding something related to transparency and a complete oversight of investigation, thorough investigation, which goes to internal affairs, and internal means in, within the affairs of within in-house, man. In-house relating to the system of in-house relating to their system in-house. That's why it's internal affairs, because they deal with within their house, man. As long as they're doing what they're supposed to do, there should be no question, man. But if they're not, then that's a whole different matter, man. Go to, let me see, 601, meanwhile, limits the ability for citizens police oversight boards to investigate misconduct. So, any things relating to certain forms related to police and their performance in certain situations, especially dealing with certain category groups of people, specifically. So it limits that pretty much a level of transparency a little bit and oversight, man, where they, where certain people outside can't really, get a thorough, I guess, form of transparency and oversight like they would like or deserve to. So a limit gives the power to within that system or structure, the internal structure, to, for example, to the police chiefs and appoint members who they see fit, man. DeSantis signs both measures as a ceremony in Florida. I was proud to sign the legislation today to ensure law enforcement officers can serve our communities without worrying about harassment from anti-police activists. And like I said, if they're doing what they're supposed to do, they know they are, then there should be no problem. Only one is guilty is the ones who would be guilty, who feel they were guilty, because maybe they are in some levels, man. But if you're not guilty, it should be no problem, man. And you will stand on by your procedures, your guidelines and different things, that you will stand by those things, man. Because you ain't do nothing wrong, man. DeSantis said and post on the X, will continue to take the actions to ensure Florida remains the friendliest state of the nation for law enforcement. Some medias and First Amendments advocate to have criticized the no-go for which affects January 1. The First Amendment Foundation Executive Director Bobby Block said the bill language was vague, unlikely to hold up in court. We will find the law is highly discretionary. It will enable responders to order reporters and citizens with smartphones to stop video and auto recording, or simply observe it in a violation of their constitutional rights, man. From a balance aspect, that's probably why the cameras, man. So that cameras will catch unless they tweak and modify the cameras or convert or change the cameras. There's certain situations that, it might not have been, full transparency in certain, districts relating to police. So, the point is limited on their responders can order like reporters, man. To you have the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and the ones who are recording videos, as long as they don't hinder them where they up and close to the police like that. That's what that verbal warning, that's what that second degree misdemeanor and all that. So it has to be within boundaries, maybe at a distance, just saying, and not where it's interfering, obviously, because like I was saying with scripture, man, they're still in a position of power, man. So you have to have respect of the ones in authority, man. That's why that scripture says, I'm going to get it, I'm going to read it, I'm going to finish this up. Recorder simply observant in violation of their constitutional rights blocks wrote in the letter urging DeSantis to veto the bill. And some black Democrats in Florida spoke out against the bill because in a lot of cases, a lot of this misconduct, unfortunately, goes to a certain category groups of people, specifically. But it can go to anybody, but it's highly more on specifics, on a specific group more than anything, man, because that's what you hear about relating to these forms of this lack of transparent oversight related to possible misconduct and different things, man. Especially among certain group of people, man. Give an example, 2020 relating to the George Floyd and other cases that gained national attention due to bystanders being close enough to record incidents. The only reason we know what happened to George Floyd is because of a girl who filming his murder close by, man. And if it's apparent to me today that this body is more concerned with the comfort of police officers than it is with the justice and the truth. And that's how some people will look at it, man. It's shielding forms of oversight, transparency, protecting and shielding the ones in the position of power. You know what I mean? More. So some people are going to have that feeling, man. You know what I mean? Especially if they feel it's questionable relating to their performance to certain police or district of police relating to their specific respective city and police that may be involved in certain situations, and under those situations there could be question on how it's handled relating to that, man. So some people are gonna go speak out against that kind of stuff, man. That was Laverne Bracy, Lavon Bracy Davis of Ochi, Florida, or OC, Florida. Critics of the HB 601 argue the bill removes the important source of civilian input and transparency into police agencies. And think that attempts to eliminate their boards. Mark Dickerman, Vice President of the Fort Lauderdale Police Advisory Board, told the Sentinel in South Florida, the law is almost a death knell for boards throughout the state. And the bill, let me see. So the bill would be take effect July 1st. We got 21 Citizens Oversight Board, Daytona, Delray, Gainesville, Tallahassee, West Palm Beach. Boards already most limited, investigating, ensuring independent reports with suggestion to law enforcement agencies. Currently, Citizens Oversight, the board can review cases once the agency has released its own internal affairs. You know, the internal affairs probe. It's in-house. Board decides the investigation was incomplete and tell the agency and also provide input on the officer's punishment. Florida Department of Law Enforcement Commissioner Mark Glass praised the legislation. And these men and women do not need to be scrutinized again and again by the committee. They have no idea what they were talking about, Glass said in a press conference. The bill cleared the House with the bipartisan 81-28 vote earlier this year. During the debate, Christopher Benjamin, Democrat, Miami Gardens, opposed the measure, saying, "We don't believe police can best investigate the police." You know, I mean, that goes to, you know, whether they're going to be fully honest and, you know, I mean, without any form of, you know, being partial, without form of, you know, having partiality, and not being showing no favoritism, man, because of certain matters, man, you know, no form of impropriety or stuff like that. So I'm going to get some scriptures. So some say it would be a form of, what's that word I want? I forgot. Shalak. 525. Agree with thine adversary quickly while thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to officer, and thou be cast into prison. So you agree with them, man. You know what I mean? Because they're in a position of power for a reason, man. You know what I mean? A lot of situations you see is because of compliance, man, on certain levels. And each case by case, you know what I mean? Each case by case, you know, so you have to factor that in. Every situation is different, and you have to weigh that in, man. But a lot of times, sometimes it's over something that should be small, but it escalates something bigger, and it causes, you know what I mean, a more serious situation, man, sometimes. You know. 9 and 13. Keep away from those who have the power to kill, and who will not be filled with dread of death. And you will not be filled with the dread of death, and that's pretty much that fear, man. But if you come near them, do not offend them, unless they take away your life, because they're in a position of power. They have the GUN, the PISTOL, the SSAULT, WEAPON, man. And they're part of that structure of power, man. They won't hesitate if they need to use that, man. This is something short relating to that. So yeah, they're going to keep it internal. So that would be a form of what? Conflict of interest. That's what I was trying to think of. That would be a form of conflict of interest, because you need an outside entity to investigate. That's what they will want, so they can show no favoritism on either side, man. You know what I mean? So in that case, it would be where it won't show a full disclosure of transparency or oversight without possibly any form of conflict of interest or even favoritism, because of relating to internal matters, or relating to the internal matters within the system, man, because of this, internally what's involved, man. So it has to be an outside entity. That's what they want more, for complete transparency. You know what I mean? Because they don't trust it internally. So they want external to come in internally to give a balance to it, man. That's what that goes to. And this is just a few scriptures relating to that. I hope this helps. Zayah Wolf, all praise Yahweh Shem Yahshua B'Shem Makakadas. Zayah Wolf, Shalom.